Hello! Welcome to the video where I overanalyze the gameplay of levels for the second time. I thought about what other levels I could cover, and while mainly focusing on current levels, I want to sprinkle in some of my favorites from the past as well. You're gonna see that from now on. Anyways, we got 3 great levels to cover once again, so let's get started. Our first level today is Get On My Level by CaRlItOs. After watching my first video, I've decided to at least give a little context and introduction before we get into each level, so it doesn't feel that abrupt. This level has a difficulty rating of Advanced and overall focuses on one color scheme, reminding me of the earlier days of PA. Watching this level is almost as much of a treat as playing it, as everything bounces around you with very charming animation. It's a shame the level is only barely over a minute long, but that doesn't take away from the experience. So with that being said, let's get into the gameplay. The beginning is not too bad. The thick helpers give you plenty of room to breathe, and while the thin lasers are almost completely ignorable, the circle helpers are not. Gain distance from these as they shoot out bullets. Due to the giant hitboxes here, it is optimal to stay at the top of the screen. At the thin lasers here, don't move once you are in between 2 helpers. The second set of helpers don't shift in the slightest. At the scrolling section, stay away from the top, as the bullets emerge from there. There's a one kinda tricky dash you'll have to perform. As soon as the middle column stops pulsing, immediately dash into it to avoid the next set of pulses. Make sure to aim your dashes correctly between the lasers. Here I would suggest keeping the rotating lasers in your peripheral vision, and fully focus on the bullets flying all over the place. The cross of lasers only rotates 45 degrees before stopping for a tiny bit. This should make the timings of your dashes easier. Once the lasers split up, you can stay in one place to avoid having to worry about the double rotation. At this helper, you should be ready to dash at any point, in case a bullet comes too close, because you are in a pretty tiny place. And make sure you don't do this. At the end, weave through the lasers to gain distance from the center, and perform a short dash through it. Listening to the music and syncing up your movements makes this quite simple, even though the pulse is really fast. Our second level is Computer Talk by Blane. This is by comparison an older level, having been released a year and a half ago for the Tiny Worlds level contest. The level has a difficulty rating of Advanced and has the main theme of technology, with his green color theme. I always wanted an excuse to gush about this level because it's one of my all-time favorites. The theming is excellent and I appreciate the song choice. And the gameplay has quite a bit to analyze too. Speaking of which, let's get into that. I think I should just stay silent whenever we see normal lasers and stuff at calm parts of a level. There isn't much to say other than gentle gameplay and easy dodging. Here it may not look like it, but this is indeed a scrolling section, so keep that in mind. We get our first look at the boss. While the first half or so consists of normal level gameplay, with the boss appearing sparingly, he will appear in the latter half way more. This part is gameplay-wise one of the most fun in the entire level. The whole execution is perfect. While avoiding the pretty fast helpers around the screen, you do have to focus on the right side of the screen as well, looking at where the opening of the wall is. The bullets moving slowly here make this part quite interesting. They stay on the screen for longer, and despite being small, they could be in the way. The teleporting attack sends out a lot of bullets, so be wary of your positioning. The only thing that makes this part hard is the rotating. Keep in mind that neither the bullets nor the screen is actually rotating. Block out everything apart from the bullets and this part will seem much easier. Also, I believe this to be a bug, but you can't get hit at the transition here. Dash upwards as soon as the screen turns white to avoid this. This part is actually quite funny. Once you dodge this attack here, you can just chill in the corner for pretty much the rest of the part and watch the animations in pure comfort. On the contrary, this part is frantic and does require you to actually move. I consider this the hardest part of the level because of the quick movements and the amount of projectiles flying around. All of the helpers give you plenty of time to react. This part will need a lot of practice, however, to get fully down. Our third and final level for today is Memories by RedlixHD, or rather the remake of Arrhythmia's Memories. This level has a difficulty rating of moderate, and while it is a remake, I will look at it as its own thing though, and not compare it to the original. The colors, movements, and effects that are going on as you play make this level feel very dynamic. You play in the same confined space with the same general type of attack, these squares pulsing in and out. Despite such a restriction, this level is a blast and offers various interesting ways to use this concept. So let's look at it. The intro to this level requires only one carefully timed dash. Just wait and dash through one pillar before the next one is activated. Don't get distracted by the effects going on. Nothing here actually hits you apart from the squares. The amount of helpers could be overwhelming here. Your best bet is to memorize vaguely how the pattern unfolds. You can get through this part with minimal to almost no dashes at all. Apart from the blue attacks we've seen previously, now we also have these yellow and purple fellas, moving from side to side. These have a one square gap to squeeze through, but in dire situations it is possible to dash through them. Although this is quite hard because they don't move in one fluid motion, but rather from square to square. This is a small intermission. This cluttered green section is slightly easier to get through. This section is very similar to the one previously, although the yellow and purple attacks are coming at you much more frequently. The ending here is the same as the second section of the level, minus all the effects going on. A very, very calm ending. that was it for the levels today. As always, make sure to show some love to the people who made these levels by watching or playing these yourself. I've used a different editing software for this video because the one I used for the last one kinda gave up on me and didn't work properly, but now everything should be good. Anyways, I hope this was enjoyable. See you next week, hopefully.